How do you prefer to learn? Seeing, listening, touching, or doing? There are three modalities of learning: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Most learners lean towards one of these. A visual learner prefers to learn by seeing and is attracted to various different ways to visualize material. An auditory learner prefers to learn by listening and is attracted to learning material with voices and sounds. A kinesthetic learner prefers to learn by doing and touching and is attracted to a hands-on approach for learning. You may have noticed that the three ways of learning corresponded to the three senses, sight, hearing, and touch. We're missing two of the senses, smell and taste, but I doubt any of you are olfactory learners. Or gustatory learners. Which type of learner do you think you are? This is the time when the quality learner must be the artist of learning while considering the science of learning. Think of your beliefs about what it takes for you to learn something, and you'll probably discover your preference. Now let's get into the specifics of the three learning modalities. As a visual learner, you would use your sense of sight as your primary learning tool. Watching demonstrations and detailed graphics are likely helpful to you, like taking notes from a colorful PowerPoint presentation. A visual learner would find a video such as this one helpful for learning, as would an auditory learner, because a video is both a visual and auditory experience. A visual student writes things down and takes notes. When a visual learner isn't being active, he or she stares, doodles, or looks for something to watch. A visual learner often thinks in images and will tend to speak quickly in order to keep up with those images appearing in his or her mind. Distractions for a visual learner tend to be visual, like a messy study space. As an auditory learner, you would use your sense of hearing as your primary learning tool. Listening intently to a lecture may be more beneficial to an auditory learner than taking constant notes. Notes for an auditory learner may just include a list of keywords. Recording notes with a tape recorder, with permission from the instructor, may also be very beneficial for an auditory learner. An auditory learner should try to recite notes out loud when studying. And E stands for energetic. Distractors for an auditory learner tend to be sounds. A noise in or around the classroom may be a distraction for an auditory learner. As a kinesthetic learner, you would use your sense of touch as your primary learning tool. Kinesthetic learners prefer taking a physical part in the learning process by doing hands-on activities. Laboratory experiments and class activities are beneficial to kinesthetic learners. Kinesthetic learners often prefer to move around as they study, changing positions in a room frequently. Some kinesthetic learners can even exercise while they study. Frutescent, shrubby, or like a shrub. A kinesthetic learner may not be attentive to visual or auditory classroom presentations because he or she would rather be doing something more active, like a classroom activity. Your instructor will have a teaching style that will lean towards one of these three preferences. That style may or may not be your preference. In a situation where your learning preference doesn't match your instructor's teaching style, be prepared to spend a little bit more time relearning the material in a style that fits you. Whether you're currently a visual, an auditory, or a kinesthetic learner, it doesn't mean you're stuck with that for the rest of your life. You can control the use of the different learning modalities to fit your needs, and you can change your learning preferences as you grow.